Yo, what is happening, YouTube family? In today's video, we are gonna level up our design skills. We are not gonna allow ourselves to be pixel pushers any longer. We're not gonna jump into Figma thinking through solutions before we understand the problems that we're trying to work through on our projects. I declare today, I will no longer jump into Figma if I don't understand what the hell I'm working on. Let's say that out loud. I declare today, I am no longer going to jump into Figma and be a pixel pusher. Right? So, yeah, guys, this is going to help you level up because one of the biggest challenges we have as designers is that we are not clear about why we're working on our projects. Right? We have product managers, we have clients or engineers coming to us with different solutions that they already have in mind, and we may end up in a position where we're designing solutions based off of opinions. Right? So the clearer that we are about the goals of a project, the better off we'll be when we actually come up with solutions that tie to those goals and those problems. Right? Otherwise, we'll end up, making mock-up after mock-up and, just designing things that actually don't matter. And you'll waste your time, waste your life, and time is of the essence, right? You don't get back time. You don't get back time. So in order for us to stay away from that, I'm going to show you the framework that I use anytime I have a discovery conversation with an internal stakeholder at work. I've used this framework for many years. It works. And I learned it from the legendary Chris Do, who started the YouTube channel The Future, where he educates millions of designers around the world. And he said that this is something that he used with his clients early on in his career, right? And I know that it works. And the reason I feel like it works is anytime you have a conversation with the client or a stakeholder, their minds are naturally scattered. As human beings, we don't think in a linear fashion. We don't say, yo, this is the user goal, this is the business goal. Like, our minds don't work like that. So we don't have conversations that way, right? They may come to you with like a solution that they already have in mind, and they're like, yo, I want you to design a homepage with luxury sneakers on there, and I got this brilliant idea, right? They might be super excited, right? And that's totally okay. Our job is to figure out what the actual goals are, and that's a part of our profession, right? We have to guide our teams and align our teams and help them build out that vision, right? So what you'll see in this framework is that there's 4 different sections. There's goals, problems, solutions, and metrics. And when you're having a conversation with somebody one-on-one or with an entire team, as you're listening to people, you want to pick up on all of these different areas, right? If somebody mentions, oh, we want to increase revenue, write that down. If they mention a specific solution that they already have in mind, write that down, right? But as you're having this conversation, if certain things don't get brought up, I have some prompts to get you kicked off, when some questions that you can ask to lead you in the right direction and guide your conversations, right? But you don't necessarily need to ask these questions. These are just some prompts because I know that a lot of people out there have never had a discovery conversation. But you have a discovery conversation early on in your project to understand why you're working on a specific project. So if my manager assigns me to a project at the company I work at, I'll be like, okay, who's the product manager? I need to reach out to this person and understand what this project is about. And once I talk to that product manager, I might ask them, yo, who's the lead engineer that I need to speak with? And I'll set up a different conversation with that person. And then I may decide to have a design kickoff meeting with all the stakeholders who are going to be involved in that project. It could be a marketer, it could be my manager, it could be anybody that I'm going to work with on this project. So I'm sure that we're all on the same page. But based on those one-on-one conversations, well, what I'll try to do in that design kickoff meeting is make sure that everybody's aligned, right? So if I had a discovery conversation with my product manager, Kelly, and she says that we want to increase revenue, and I also had a conversation with Bob, who is the lead engineer, and he thinks that we want to increase brand awareness. There's misalignment, right? And I need to make sure that I bring this up and get everybody on the same page, right? So let's get into each of these sections here. So if nobody brings up the user goal, you want to make sure to ask that. What is the user goal? And how does that tie to the business goal to increase revenue, right? And when people are talking, you also want to understand what are people's personal motivations. If your product manager, Kelly, has already drawn out a wireframe and she comes to you in that kickoff meeting with that wireframe in hand, that just tells you that Kelly likes to think through design ideas. So now, going forward on your project, you'll want to keep in mind like, oh, Kelly likes to sketch out ideas. When I get into the concept phase, I need to involve her in my process. So not only, I'm not going to be the one to just draw out ideas and present them to her, because she may have her guard up. She may put up her defenses, right? Because she doesn't feel listened to when she was proposing ideas to me, right? So you want to keep Kelly involved in your process, right? So you don't just want to understand the goals of the users or the business. You want to understand people motivations and their personal goals. Now jumping into problems, you want to understand the problem with the current solution that's already implemented on the app or the website that you're designing for. If there's no solution, what's the workaround? How are customers or users working around the current problem? Are they dropping off? Are they going to a different website? Are they going through some janky workflow that needs to be iterated on? Right? Why is that a problem? Is it leading to decreased revenue? Is it leading to people writing up bad reviews? For solutions, like I said, people might already come to you with certain solutions in mind. Oftentimes, those are assumptions that people think are going to work. You definitely want to write that down. But if there are certain solutions that got proposed in the past, and there was a previous designer that worked on the project that you're working on, you might want to reach out to that designer to get some context and some background information, right? Because they may have already thought through 6 or 7 different solutions and they didn't go down those routes because of certain constraints, right? The sooner that you figure that out, the sooner that's going to put you in a better position. Because if you work through those solutions again, you're wasting your time. You also want to understand if there are certain solutions internally at the company that you work at that you can probably leverage. There may be certain components or back-end technologies on other teams that makes your job a lot easier and makes your engineering team more efficient. When it comes to metrics, you want to understand, what does success look like? If you mock something up and you guys implement that solution, right? Does it look like increased revenue? Does it look like increased brand awareness? Does it look like more positive reviews? How are you going to know that the solution works? All right. And when you are clear about this information, it'll help you come up with a design solution that matches the goals that people have in mind. And like I said before, if you aren't clear on the goals, you'll end up in a position where you're just making mock-up after mock-up. Right? And we want to stay away from that. And I also think that this helps you align your team. It helps you be more efficient, helps you be clear, right? So what's the next step? If you are in a design boot camp or you're working through a personal project, you can have somebody that can partner with you where they're a mock product manager, right? They're a fake product manager, and you can get requirements from them and ask them these questions. Understand how you navigate these discussions, because the sooner that you understand how to have these types of conversations, the more prepared you're going to be when you actually get into the big leagues or work at a startup company or whatever, right? When you get that job, you're going to be more prepared, because this is what designers have to do. We got to be problem solvers, but we also have to be the ones who help our teams build out that vision. Because oftentimes, like I said, people actually aren't clear about the goals that they have in mind. They're super excited to get started on a project, but oftentimes what that leads to is them proposing certain solutions already, which are actually assumptions. So yeah, guys, I know that this is going to help you. Try it out, and if you do, comment down below and tell me how it goes. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.